Hello students, welcome to AP classes and this is Abhishek. Back within the video tutorial on concept of tokens and data types. In this video tutorial, we are going to continue our series of tokens. In the first video, we have already discussed about tokens and types of tokens. So there are 5 types of tokens: identifiers, keywords, separators, operators and literals. In the first video, we have already discussed about identifiers and keywords. In the second video, we discussed about separators. So today in this video, we are going to discuss about operators. In terms of ICSE examination, operators are quite important because every year, if you look to the question paper, every year you get a few questions, maybe of 2 marks or 4 marks of question from operator, where you have to do some calculations or you have to find the output. So in ICSE point of view, this operator topic is quite important. Today we are going to discuss about each and every operator which are present in Java. So a lot to know, a lot to discuss as always, but before we begin, please subscribe my channel and like the video. Operators are fourth category of token. As I said that this category is made by me because I feel that if I teach you first identifiers, then if I proceed with a keyword, then third one if I proceed with separators, and the fourth one if I go with the operators, it will be quite easier for you to understand. So this category is made by me. Do not get confused. Once again I'm telling you, do not think that whether this is the universal category which is given in the book. It's not like that. This category is made by me. I have made this category, right? So operators are fourth category of token. Operators are special symbols, as you know students. Operators, whenever we use operators, these are special symbols. Plus sign is an operator, negative sign is an operator, multiplication sign is an operator, division sign is an operator. So these are special symbols and they have a special meaning for the compiler, isn't it? Because every token, it has a special meaning for the compiler. So plus sign is a token, and what type of token it is? Operator. Negative sign is a token. What type of token? Operators. Multiplication, division, all these are considered as tokens, or you can say they come under operators. Now before proceeding with operator, one thing we have to be very sure, one topic we have to know, that what is operand and what is operator. If we write 1 plus 2, here 1 and 2 both are considered as operand. Remember, 1 and 2 both are considered as operand, and plus sign is considered as operator. Right? So an operator is always used, it is always used within operand, in between operand. If we write A plus B, then A and B both are considered as operand, and plus sign is considered as operator. Remember, operators are always used between operands or along with operands. They cannot be used separately. Now this third point, it is not required in terms of ICSE, it is not required, so do not just ignore this third point. We are not going to discuss about the third point, right? Operators are special symbols. Those have specific functions. Every operator, they have a specific function, like plus sign is used to add two numbers, negative sign is used to subtract two numbers, multiplication is used for a specific purpose, division is used for a specific purpose, mod is used for a specific purpose. So each and every operator, it have a special meaning for the compiler. Whatever operators you see, whatever operator you see, arithmetic operator, relational operator, whatever operator you see, it will have a special meaning for the compiler. So they are considered as tokens. Basically, operators are divided into three parts: unary operator, binary operator, ternary operator. In the past, we have got many a times the question has come in ICSE that what is unary operator, what is binary operator, what is ternary operator. What is the difference between unary operator and binary operator? So today we are going to discuss in details about unary operator, binary operator and ternary operator. The operators which can be used with only one operand are called as unary operator. So when an operator can be used with one operand, that is called as unary operator. For example, if we write a plus plus, well, we will discuss about this plus plus. Why do we use this plus plus? After some time in this video, in the next slide or upcoming slides, we are going to discuss about plus plus and minus minus. But for the time being, remember, unary operators are the operators. Here plus plus is considered as unary operator. And why it is considered as unary operator? Because it can be only used with a single operand. When an operator is used with single operand, that is called as unary operator. Here a plus plus we can write like this, or you can write b minus minus. B is the operator, minus minus is the operand. C, and you can use a negation sign here, right? You can use a tilde sign or negation sign here. This is called as unary operator. You can use an exclamation mark. This is called as an unary operator. So the operators which can be used with one operand are called as unary operator. The operator which can be used with two operands are called as binary operator. So here whatever you see, plus plus, minus minus, this negation sign, exclamation mark, these four operators are considered as unary operator. Now you must be having a doubt that, sir, is this only four operators which are considered as unary operator? No, we have several other operators which comes under unary operator, but it is written as an example that plus plus, minus minus, tilde sign, exclamation mark, it comes under unary operator because these operators can be used with one single operand. In binary operator, whenever you use an operator with two operands, that is called as binary operators, right? Here plus sign is called as binary operator because you cannot use plus sign if you do not have two operators, a minus b. Here minus is called as binary operator. Do not get confused with this plus sign and here this plus plus. Both plus plus sign, both are different. Single plus sign is considered as binary operator. Double plus sign is considered as unary operator. Single negative sign is considered as binary operator and double negative sign is considered as unary operator. Now we have plus sign, negative sign, multiplication, greater than, equals to, whatever you see, we will discuss about lot more binary operators, but for the time being, plus sign, just remember plus, minus, negative, division, all these are considered as binary operator because if you want to use this operator, then you have to take help of two operands. Without taking help of two operands, you cannot use binary operators. What is ternary operator? When the operator can be used with three operands. It can be used with three operands, that is called as ternary operator. So this is going to be quite interesting for you. Ternary operator is a quite new term for you. It's a new operator for you. We are going to discuss about ternary operator in the upcoming slides, in the upcoming videos. But now we are going to discuss in details about unary operator and binary operator. Java provides a rich set of operators. What do you mean by rich set of operators? Here you can use a lot of operators. Okay, there is no restrictions. You can use many operators in Java. A lot of operators can be used in Java. Java provides a rich set of operators to manipulate variables. If you want to make some changes to a variable, if you want to make some changes to the value, then here you can use a lot of operators. We can divide all the Java operators into the following group. Okay, operators can be divided into following groups: arithmetic operator, relational operator, bitwise operator, logical operator, and assignment operator. Now you must be thinking, sir, here just now we discussed that operators are divided into three parts, that is unary operators, binary operators, and ternary operators. Now in the next slide again you are saying that it is divided into arithmetic operator, relational operators, bitwise operators, logical operators and assignment operators. So if a question comes what is operator and how many types of operators are there, what we are going to write, whether we are going to write it as unary operator, binary operator and ternary operator, or we are going to write arithmetic operator, relational operator, bitwise operator, logical operators and assignment operators. Remember students, when I talk about arithmetic operators, the operators which takes part for arithmetic calculation are called as arithmetic operators. For example, plus sign is an arithmetic operator because it is used for arithmetic calculation. Negative sign, arithmetic operator. Division sign, arithmetic operator. Plus sign, arithmetic operator. Minus sign, arithmetic operator. But here plus minus division it comes under binary operator, and plus minus it comes under unary operator. So whatever operator you see here, whatever operator we are going to discuss here in this module, in this topic, each and every operator it will come either under unary operator, binary operator or ternary operator. Okay, so few arithmetic operators will be there which will come under unary operator and binary operator. There will be few arithmetic operators, relational operators which might come under unary operator or binary operator. There will be few operators, bitwise operators, which will come under unary or binary. Logical operators will be there which will come under unary or binary. Assignment operators will be there which will come under unary or binary. So here we have classified this, we have given a specific name to the operators. Plus sign, arithmetic operator. Negative sign, arithmetic operator. So they are given specific names, what type of operator they are. But as a whole, if you see, there are three types of operators: unary operator, binary operator and ternary operator. So an arithmetic operator, few arithmetic operators can come under binary operator, few arithmetic operators can come under unary operator. Few relational operators can come under arithmetic, unary operator, and few relational operators can come under binary operator. So similarly, these are the classification of operators. Here you can see, here these many types of operators we have. These many type of operators we have. But these operators can be further classified, or you can say these operators will come under unary, binary or ternary. So if a question comes, what is an operator? You have to write the definition. Like operators are the special symbols, those have specific functions associated with them. For performing the operations, it needs some operands. That's all. You have to write like this much. Operators are special symbols, they have specific functions associated with them. For performing the operation, it needs some operands. Then there are three types of operators: unary operator, binary operator, ternary operator. Further, operators are classified or divided into following groups: arithmetic operators, relational operators, bitwise operators, logical operators and assignment operators. Today we are going to discuss about arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator. Remember, bitwise operator is not in your syllabus, so we are not going to discuss anything about bitwise operator. But for your reference, for your knowledge, remember bitwise operator are also considered as operators. Let's discuss about arithmetic operator. You can see that plus sign, negative sign, multiplication, division, mod, plus and minus are considered as arithmetic operator. These operators are only used for arithmetic purpose or only used for calculation purpose. If you have to add something, multiply something, divide something, find remainder, you have to increase something, you have to decrease something, then these operators can be used. Let us assume that A holds 10 and B holds 20. Value of A is 10 and value of B is 20. Now the question for you is, what is A? Tell me, what is A? Which type of token this is? What is B? Which type of token this is? A is an identifier. B is an identifier, isn't it? A is an identifier, B is an identifier, because this is the name given by me. Don't think that this is an arithmetic operator. The reason is, or don't think that this is an operand. Especially I'm telling you, do not think this is an operand. Now it is not an operand, right? Now it is not an operand, it is just an identifier. But later on we can use this a and b as an operand. When we will write a plus b, it can be used. Now it can be considered as operand. But here operand, the name of the operand is given by me, don't you think? Name of operand is given by me. So here the operand what you see, even that are identifiers. Operand we use in mathematics. In Java we call it as an identifier, right? Now let us assume a holds 10 and b holds 20. When we will write a plus b, it will give me the output, that is 30. A minus b will give me the output minus 10. Because a is 10, b is 20. 10 minus 20 will give me output minus 10. Third one, multiplication sign. A multiply b will give you 200, because 10 into 20 will give you 200. 10 by 20. Here you can see b by a is written, 20 by 10 is written. It will give you the quotient part, that is 2. But when you use mod, it will give you the remainder. Remember, to get the remainder, we use mod. Now let's look to an example, then you will come to know. We'll write a class here, class operator. Here class is a keyword and operator is an identifier here. Public, again public is a keyword. Static, it is a keyword. Void, keyword. And then main. Main is the name given by me, so it is an identifier. What you see here, the curly braces are called as separators. It comes under separator and it is used to maintain a block, or it is used to maintain a scope. It is used to represent a block, or it is used to represent a scope. Now let's begin with the thing. If a holds 10 and b holds 20. Now a and b both are of int type, their data type is int. So we know that we can use comma to separate variables of same data type. Here we have used comma to separate variables of same data type, that is int. And semicolon is used to represent that we have come to an end of this line and we can start with a different statement. Semicolon are always used to represent end of a line. In this example you can see here we have one set of token or one set of separator. This is a second set of separator, third separator, comma, and this is the fourth separator. Now when you write system or you write int c equals to a plus b, then let us print system dot out dot println c, right? When you print the value of c, what value you are going to get? 10 plus 20, 10 plus 20, that is 30, isn't it? Now instead of a plus b, if you write b mod a, okay, when you divide 20 with 10, what remainder you get? Because 10 into 2 will give you 20, the remainder will come 0. So mod is always used to get the remainder. Now let's compile the program and execute it. You can see that we are going to get 0 here. Let us take another example. If we write here 25 and we write here 3, now just think, or you write here 3, yes. Now when you divide a with b, okay, when you find mod of a with b, what remainder you will get? When you divide 25 with 3, what is the remainder? What is the remainder? 8 3 is 24. So remainder will be 1. Let us compile this one and have a look. Yes, we are going to get 1 here. Similarly, when you divide 8 with 10, okay, when you divide 8 with 10, what is the remainder? 10 zeros are 0 and remainder will come to be, remainder will come here when you divide b with a, that is 10 with 2, I'm sorry, let us divide a with b. When we divide a with b, the remainder will be 8, because when you divide 8 with 10, it cannot be divided by 10, isn't it? So 10 into 0 will give you 0. Remainder will be 8. Let's see. Yeah, you can see remainder is 8. To get the remainder, remember, whenever you need a remainder, you have to use mod sign, and if you need the question part, then you have to use division sign, right? If you need question part, then you have to use division sign. If you need remainder, then you have to use mod sign. Now let's do one thing. B by A, let us use B by A. I will compile the program B by A, and what output I'm going to get for B by A? B by A means 10 by 8. 10 by 8 means 1 point something, right? But in here we are not going to get 1 point something. Why we are not getting the point part, I will discuss in the upcoming videos. Once I discuss with the data types, then you will come to know why the point part is ignored here. What is the reason the point part is ignored? But for the time being, I'm not going to discuss that why the point part is ignored in this place, because we are going to discuss about different operators. We are not supposed to discuss that why we do not have a point part here, why it is not considered, why it is not coming here, and what can be done so that the point can be considered. So these things are going to be discussed in our upcoming classes when we will discuss about data types. Regarding data types, when we will discuss, that time your doubts will be cleared that why and when we are going to get the point part and how the point parts can be considered. I hope that mod part is quite clear to you. Well, we'll discuss about the operators increment and decrement operator. Now, if A holds 5, if we write A plus plus like this, this means that A equals to A plus 1. Here we are going to print the value of A. Now let's look to the output. You can see that 6 is getting printed, right? So whenever you write A plus plus, that means A equals to, you are representing A equals to A plus 1, or you can simply say that value of A will get increased by 1. Instead of writing A plus plus, if you write A minus minus, then what will happen? Value of A will get decreased by 1 and it will print 4, right? Similarly, if we write A minus minus and again if we write A plus plus, what will be the output? A minus minus, value of A will become 4. Then because of A plus plus, value of A will become 5. Once again it will become 5. When you compile the program and you print it, execute it, you will see that the output is coming as 5. So this is about the increment operator, what you see, or decrement operator, what you see here. The decrement operator, what you see here, minus minus, or increment operator, what you see here, plus plus. One thing can be noticed from here that minus minus is used with one operand, isn't it? A is the single operand and we have used minus minus sign. Therefore, minus minus is considered as an unary operator and plus plus sign is considered as an unary operator. But in the previous cases when we used plus sign, minus sign, multiplication sign and division sign or modulo sign, those arithmetic operators are considered as binary operator, or they come under binary operator. The reason is they cannot be used alone with one operand. We have to use these operators. These operators can be used with only two operands, right? We can only use it with two operands. Now you must be thinking that, sir, you said that it can be used with two operands, but we have seen sometimes they are used with three operands. Let's see. We have A equals to 5, B equals to 7, C equals to 9, int D equals to A plus B plus C. Now here you can say that, you can claim that plus sign is used with three operands. It's not like that. Just have a look here. Look here. Plus sign is only used in between two operands, isn't it? Here plus sign is only used within two operands. So when you solve this problem, first you will solve A plus B, that is 5 plus 7, and the value will come 7 plus 5 will give you 12. Now you are next going to, here you are going to have 12 and then you are going to add it to C, right? So here remember, binary operator means it can be only used with two operands. Unary operator means it can be only used with one operand or single operand. So this is all about arithmetic operator. So we discussed about the arithmetic operator, positive sign, negative sign, multiplication, division, mod, plus plus and minus minus. Remember student, here what you see, the plus plus and minus minus, these things we are going to discuss in our upcoming classes once again. In details we are going to discuss about increment operator and decrement operator. Increment operator and decrement operator is such an operator from where you get question in the ICSE examination. So basically in increment operator and decrement operator we are going to solve an equation, or you are going to do some kind of calculation. So this is one of the operator you can say which is used widely, or this is one of the operator you can say that from where you can get question in your ICSE examination. So I have made a special slide where we are going to discuss about plus plus and negative minus minus. You can see that I have made a slide specially for increment and decrement operator, right? So we'll discuss about increment and decrement operator in details once we are going to discuss about once we finish with the relational operator and we finish with logical operator, then we can discuss about increment and decrement operator. So this is going to be quite interesting for you when we will discuss about increment and decrement operator. This is going to be quite interesting for you. The reason is it is quite a very new thing for you. You have never come with such an example, or we have never come with such a term where the increment or decrement can be done using a single operator, or when you can use a single operand. You have never come with this kind of examples, right? I hope that arithmetic operator is quite clear to you. So let's move to the next one, that is called as relational operator. What do you mean by relational operator? Whenever you find a relation between two operands, right? What kind of relation you can find? Whether both are equal or not, or first one is greater than second one, or first one is smaller than second one is smaller than first one, or second one is larger than the first one. If you have to find some kind of relation, then in that case we have to use relational operator. Relational operators are basically used to find relation between two operands. They are basically used to find relations. The first relational operator we are going to discuss, that is double equals to. Here we do not write a single equals to sign. We do not give single equals to. The reason is single equals to comes under assignment operator. Okay, this is not a basic programming language where single equals to sign can be used to assign a value, as well as it can be used to compare two values, right? In most of the programming language you will find, I'm telling you, universally you will find equals to sign is only used to assign a value. What do you mean by assign a value? That is a equals to 10. A is assigned with a value that is 10. So here we are using equals to sign. What do you mean by double equals to? Double equals to means when you have to compare for the equality, both are equal or not, then you have to use equals to sign. And whenever double equals to is used, remember, whenever double equals to is used, whenever you use a double equals to sign, right, it gives you the output in true or false, because you are just comparing whether A and B both are equal or not. And how you will come to know whether A and B both are equal or not? If you get the value, or if you get the answer in true or false. So when you compare A and B, either the value will come as true, or it will come as false. If it comes as true, that means both are equal, and if it is false, then both are not equal, or you can say both are different. Whenever we discuss about relational operator, the first relational operator we discuss about double equals to sign. Then this is called as not equals to. Not equals to means whenever you have to check for that whether both the values are not equal, or you have to check that if both the things are not equal, then you have to use not equal to sign here. This is called as greater than sign, and this is called as less than sign, right? And further we have greater than equals to, and we have less than equals to. Today we are going to discuss each and every relational operators here. Whatever relational operators we have. How many relational operators we have here? This is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, and 6th. Total there are 6 relational operators. We are going to discuss about all the relational operators. Look at this example. We have a equals to 10 and b equals to 20. Here a is an identifier, 10 is stored to a and 20 is stored to b. When you write a double equals to b directly under system.out.println, the output will come as false. The reason is both are not same. Now you have to notice one thing. When we write a plus b, it is plus is considered as an arithmetic operator. So it gives you the arithmetic value. When you write double equals to, it is a relational operator. It will give you the value in true or false. Every time, remember, relational operator will give you the value in true or false. Now a is a equals to b, both are equal? No, both are not equal. So it will give you the value in false. Let's look to this. You can see that the value comes to be false. Similarly, you might ask me, sir, here you have printed this directly, but if we want to store it somewhere, if we want to store it to a variable, then how it can be done? Yes, it can be done. You have to take another variable, let it be c equals to a double equals to b. Now we know that a double equals to b, what do you see here? A double equals to b, right? It is a relational operator. It will give you the value in true or false. So what kind of data type you will be using here? Because we cannot use int. I can only store arithmetic values or numbers. It cannot store true or false. So instead of using here int, we will use boolean. Boolean is a data type which enables a variable, or which allows a variable to store true or false. Using boolean, we can store true or false to a variable. C is a variable which can store true or false only because we have declared it as boolean. So these things, int, boolean, double, everything we are going to discuss in our data type part. So this is just an example I am showing you. If you want to store it to a variable, how you can store. The value true or false can be stored to a variable, but for that you have to use boolean in front of that. You have to declare that variable as boolean, because boolean can only hold true or false. Now you don't have to think about int, boolean, that these things are quite difficult how we will remember, because when we will discuss about data type, things will be crystal clear to you, that when to use int, when to use boolean, when to use char, when to use string, when we can use a double, when we can use float. Everything will be crystal clear to you. But for the time being, as we are doing a program, as we are looking to the example, it must be clear that how the things can be stored to a variable. Now if you, instead of printing a double equals to b, if you print the value of c, it will give you the output that is false. You can see that it gives me the output that is false. Now if I change this value of a to 20, now both are equal, isn't it? Now when we compile, it will give me the output that is true. Now true and false, remember, it will be written like these things will be written in lowercase. You don't have to write it in capital letter, because true and false both are here. You can see both are true. Whether you write true or false, both are considered as the, here true or false is considered as a keyword, so it cannot be written. It cannot be written in capital letter. It cannot be written in capital letter. True, true, false, false. These two things are values, or you can say it is a boolean value which need to be written in small letter. So if you write, next time if you write, remember students, if you write like this, int true, you cannot write int true equals to 10. The reason is true is a keyword here, right? It is a keyword. It will give you an error. True, it's a value for boolean. It's a value for boolean, right? But if you write T, capital T, this can be considered as identifier. The reason is the capital T do not have any specific meaning for the compiler, but small t, it has a specific meaning for the compiler, right? It has a specific meaning for the compiler. And what is the meaning? It is used for boolean purpose, right? Similarly, whenever you write false, if it is a boolean value, then you have to write it in small letter or lowercase, that is false. Everything must be in lowercase. I hope the part of this double equals to is quite clear to you. Now if you want to check for the inequality that both are not equal, or whether both, so if it will give you the value true if both are not equal. Now here you have used not equals to sign. If the value of A is not equals to B, then it will give you the value as true, or then it will give you the outcome or output as true. You can clearly see that 20, A holds 20 and B holds 20 and both are equal. But here we have used not equals to sign, isn't it? We have used not equals to sign here. So output what will get stored to C, that is false. C will have false here. Let's compile the program and execute it. You can see that it's giving me an output that is false. Similarly, if I change the value of A to 10, now tell me, A is having 10, B is having 10, and is both these two things are not equal? Yes, A and B both are not equal, or value of A is not equals to value of B. So the output will be true. You can see here the output comes to be true. And what is the reason the output comes to true? The reason is both are not equal, right? Now let us check for the next one. Greater than sign. A greater than B. Now tell me, value of A, is it greater than 20? No, it is not greater than 20. What will be the output? The output will be false. Let's compile this one. It's coming false. Now if you change the value, if you change this 10 to 100, then what will be the output? A is greater than B. Yes, A is greater than B. Output will be true. If we use less than sign, A is less than B. Compile, let us compile. So 100 is less than 20. No, it will give you false. Now if we change this to 200 instead of 20, if we use 200 here, now A is less than B. Yes, A is less than B. Right? The next relational operator what you can use here is equals to sign. Now what do you mean by less than equals to? Less than equals to means if a value, if the first operand here you can see, if A is less than B, it will give you a value that is true. The outcome will be 2. And if it is equals to B, it will give you outcome true. Now let me write it here. If A is less than B, then it will give you true, or if A is equals to B, then it will give you true, right? If the value of A, what is the value of A? 100. 100 is less than B. Yes, 100 is less than B. So outcome will be true. Okay. Now if I make both the values same, that is 100 and 100. Now tell me, A is less than B? No, A is not less than B. But here we have used equal to sign. A is equals to B. Yes, both the values are equal. A and B both are equal. It will give you the output, that is, once again it will give you the output true, right? If any one of this condition, if A is less than B or A is equals to B, if any one of this condition is true, if any one of this condition is satisfied, then it will give you the value that is true. Now if we increase the value of A, that is 1000, if we make A as 1000 and we'll compile the program. Now tell me, A is less than B, 1000 is less than 100? No. Is it equals to B? 1000 is equals to 100? No. Once again, it is not equals to 100. Let's compile this program and execute this. You'll see that it's coming false. It's giving you an error. It's going to give you it's not an error. It's going to give you an output that is false, because it is not less than 100. 1000 is not less than 100, nor it is equals to 100. Similarly, instead of less than equals to, if you use greater than equals to, right? Now tell me, A is greater than B. Now with this relational operator, what we can assume, if A is greater than B, then it will give you true, or if A is equals to B, then it will give you true. Now tell me, is value of a greater than b? Yes, value of a is greater than b. It is not equals to b, but it is greater than b. The output will be true. The next one, if we make both as same, a and b both are equal, let us compile this program and execute. Yes, both are equal. Again you will get true. Now if we increase the value of b to 200, now tell me, a is greater than b, 100 is greater than 200? No. A is equals to b. Once again let us see here, 100 is equals to 200? No. It will give you a value that is false. Right? This is how we can use a different relational operators. We can use equals to sign. For equals to sign we have to use double equals to. Then not equals to we can use, that is exclamation mark and equals to sign. And after that we can use a greater than sign, less than sign, greater than equals to sign, and less than equals to sign. Now you must be clear about double equals to sign, because it is used for to check whether both the things are equal or not, both the values are equal or not. This is not equals to sign, both the values are not equal. If both the values are not equal, then it will give you a value true, otherwise it will give you false. Which one is greater, which one is smaller, and finally greater than equals to and less than equals to. I hope these 6 relational operators are quite clear to you. Now let's move to the next one. Logical operator. What do you mean by logical operator? Logical operator are used, remember, it is used to join, you can say it is used to join 2 relational operators. Logical operators can be used to join 2 relational operators, 2 or more relational operators. When you have 2 or more relational operators, if you want to get a single value out of that, logical operators can be used. Let's discuss about logical operator. Let's look to the example of logical operator, then we will come back to this slide. We have 3 values here, a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and c equals to 30. A is an identifier, b is an identifier, c is an identifier, which holds a value, constant value, that is 10, 20, and 30. Now what is the use of logical operator? How we can use logical operator? Let us see. If we write a is greater than, less than b, c is less than, b is less than c. Look here, we have 2 relational operator, isn't it? A is less than b, b is less than c. We have written 2 relational operator. We have used 2 relational operators here. Relational operators comes under binary operator, you can say that. The reason is here less than and less than both need to be used within 2 operands, between 2 operands. So if you don't have 2 operands, you cannot use less than sign, so it comes under binary operator. Now if you want to get a single result out of this, right, if you want to get single result out of this, then you have to use logical operator. Now if I use logical operator, that is and, we don't write a and d, remember, we don't write a and d, or we don't write a single ampersand, or we don't give a single ampersand sign here. This is called as ampersand sign. We don't give a single ampersand sign here, or we don't write a and d, and instead of this what we do is we write double ampersand sign or double and sign, you can say, shorthand and sign we write here. Now when we write and, what result you are going to get? Look, and is a logical operator which will give you true if all the conditions are true, right? Now let us look to this. A is less than b. What is the value of a? That is 10. What is the value of b? That is 20. 10 is less than 20. Yes, this condition is true. The first condition is true. And let's look to the second condition. B is less than c. Now what is the value of b? 20. What is the value of c? That is 30. Is 20 less than 30? Is it? Yes. Now the next value is also true. First value is true and second value is true. Both are true, so the outcome will be true. What is the reason the outcome will be true? Because we have used AND logical operator. AND logical operator will only give you value true if all the conditions are true. If you use 2 conditions, or you use 3 conditions, or you use n number of conditions, whatever conditions you have, if all the conditions, each and every condition will give you value true, then the outcome will come as true. Let's look to this output. Now we are going to print the value of D. Here we get true, right? Now let's change this condition. A is less than B and B is greater than C. I'm going to change this condition here. Now tell me, A is less than B. Is this condition true or false? A is less than means B, that means 10 is less than 20. Is 10 less than 20? Yes, this condition is true. And B is greater than C, 20 is greater than 30? No, this condition is false. Now one is true, another one is false, and we have used AND operator, AND logical operator here. And AND logical operator states that if all the conditions are true, then the outcome will be true. Otherwise, the outcome will be false. Here you can see we have one condition as true, one outcome as true, and another outcome as false. True and false will give you false. Let's compile this program. Here you can see it is giving us false output, right? This is how you can use AND operator and logical operator. So basically AND logical operator will give you a true as the output or as the outcome if all the conditions are true. Now let's use some more condition here. If A is less than B, B is less than C, and C is greater than A, and C is greater than B. Here we have used a lot of conditions, right? 4 conditions we have used. Let us make it equal to sign. We have used 4 conditions, right? Now let us evaluate this condition first. A is less than B. Students, tell me. A is less than B. 10 is less than 20. Yes. So it's giving you true. And B is less than C. 20 is less than 30. Yes. Again it will give you true. And C is greater than A. 30 is greater than 10. Yes. Again it will give you true. C is greater than equals to B. Is it equals to B? C, value of C, is it equals to 20? No, but it is equals to, but it is greater than B. 30 is greater than B. So again you are going to get true. Here you can notice that all the conditions or all the outcomes are true, and we have used AND sign in between all the conditions. So the final outcome will be true. Let's compile this program and execute. You can see that the final output is true. Now let us make a single condition false here. Instead of greater than equals to, we'll use less than equals to here. Now is the value of C less than B? Is it less than B? C, 30 is less than 20. No. Is it equals to B? 30 is equals to 20. Again no. So here the outcome will be false. So when this is false, true and true and true and false, we have one false here. That means all the conditions are not true, all the outcomes are not true. Final outcome will be false. Right? This is how we can use AND logical operator. Now instead of AND logical operator, if you use OR logical operator, okay, this is called as OR logical operator. We give 2 standing lines here. If we use 2 OR logical operator, here one OR, another OR here, and we give another OR here, right? OR states that if anyone becomes true, anyone from this, if anyone is true, then the whole outcome will become true, right? So if A is less than B, or B is less than C, or C is greater than equals to A, or C is less than equals to B, if any one of this condition is true, then the complete system will become true. Now let's look to this. A is less than B. Is it true? Yes. Or B is less than C. Is this true? Yes, it is true. C is greater than equals to A. Is C greater than A? Yes, the value of C is greater than A. 30 is greater than 10. So again this will give you true. Then or C is less than equals to B. Now tell me, what is the value of C? 30. 30 is less than B? No. Is it equals to B? No. So here we will get as false. The outcome will be false. Now we have 3 true for true statements, or you can say we have three true outcomes and one false outcome. So the total outcome will become true. And what is the reason we'll get true? Because we have used or sign here, or you can say we have used or operator here. As or operator is used here, if any one of this condition becomes true, any one of this condition becomes true, here we have three true conditions, right? If we have any one condition here true as true, then the final outcome will be true. Let's compile this program, and final outcome will be true, right? Now let's do some more manipulation here. I will make this statement as false. I will make this statement as false. Okay, I'll make this condition as false. Now A is less than B, true. B is greater than C, no, it's false. C is less than A or equals to A, no, again it will give you false, right? And C is less than equals to B, no, it is again false. We have only one true condition, and other three are false. Let's compile this program and get the output. You can see we have the outcome is true. The reason is, if we have any one condition, if you have any one condition as true, the whole statement or the whole condition will become true. So this is how it can be useful to you. Now if you make this as false, A is greater than B, no, even this is going to give you false, right? A is greater than B, no. B is greater than C, no. C is greater than A, no. C is less than equals to B, no. All the conditions are false. So the final output will be, or the final outcome will be false, right? This is how you can use OR sign. So OR sign will give you true if any one of the condition is true. If you have all the conditions are as true, it will give you true. If you have any one of the condition as true, it will give you true. But in AND, if you have any one of the condition as false, it will give you false. If all the conditions are true, then it is going to give you true. This is just vice versa. And OR, both are vice versa. AND states that if all the conditions are false, I will give you false. Whereas AND states that if all the conditions are true, I will give you true. OR states that if any one of the condition is true, then the total outcome will be true. Whereas AND states that if any one of the condition is false, I will give you false, right? This is how AND OR can be used. Well, if you want to do manipulation using both the things, right? Let's do here. A is greater than B and B is greater than C. Or we'll keep this within parenthesis, or A is less than B and B is less than C. Now tell me what will be the output. Look here, A is greater than B. Is this condition true? No, it is false. Let's solve this one. This condition is false and we have used AND sign here. B is greater than C? No, again it will give you false. Okay, so here you are going to get false and false. Then we have used OR sign, or OR operator we have used here. Then parenthesis, A is less than B, 10 is less than 20, yes, true. And B is less than C, yes, again 20 is less than 30, again you are going to get true here. Now tell me, false and false will give you false, right? False and false, both are false, and we have used AND here. So final outcome will be false. It will give you the outcome as false. Or, and what will be the outcome from this? What outcome you are going to get from this? True and true. Both are true, outcome will be true. Now what will be the final outcome? False or true. Here you have used OR sign. You can see that we have used OR sign. False or true will give you true. The reason is, if any one is true, then OR is going to give you the final outcome as true. What will be the final value of D? Final value of D is true. Let's look to this. You can see that we have true here. Now let's do another manipulation here. I'm going to use OR sign here and sign here, again an OR sign here, right? Now let's look to this. A is greater than B, false. B is greater than C, false. But what we have used here? OR sign, right? A is less than B, true. B is less than C, true. And what sign we have used here? Again OR. And in between these two OR we have used AND sign, right? What will be the final outcome? False or false will give you false, true or true will give you true, and in between false and true we have used AND sign, AND operator, right? We have used AND operator. Now false and true will give you, what will be the output of false and true? What is the output we are going to get from false and true? The final outcome will be false. The reason is here we have one false and one true, and we know that when we use AND sign, only we are going to get true if all the conditions are true, if we have true in each place. But as we have one false here, so the final outcome will be false, right? So here we are going to get false. I hope this part is quite clear to you, how we can use AND logical operator or logical operator. Now the third one is the last one, or the third one, what we say, that is called as NOT. What is the use of NOT? NOT is used just to tilt the value, just to change the value, right? Now what is the final outcome of this? Tell me, what is the final outcome, what we get from this? That is false. When you use NOT in front of that, it will change false to true. You can see it is changed to true. Let's perform this using a small one. Let's perform this using a small one. A greater than B, right? Here we have A greater than B. Now what is the value of this? A greater than B. 10 is greater than 20? No. The outcome will be false. When you use exclamation sign in front of this is called as not operator, not logical operator. It will change false to true. The final outcome here, you can see A greater than B, it is false, and you are using not sign in front of that false, so false will get changed to true. I hope this is quite clear to you. Now you must be thinking that why we have used parenthesis here, why can't we use directly not sign here? Well, for that I will show you something. Look, first of all we have to understand that not comes under unary operator. It comes under unary operator. Why it comes under unary operator? The reason is it can be only used with a single operand. Now you will tell me, sir, here we have two operands, A and B. How can you say that it is a single operand? Yes, this is a single operand. The reason is, you can look here, we have used a greater than sign, isn't it? We have used a greater than sign. Greater than sign is used in between A and B. A is one operand, B is another operand, and we have used greater than sign in between A and B. And whatever value you are going to get, final value whatever you are going to get, in front of that not sign is used. So not is considered to be used in front of a single value or in front of a single operand. These two things, the whole system, or you can say the whole thing, the things which are highlighted here, it is considered as one. The final outcome what you get, in front of that not sign is used. So here not is used in front of a single operand. To be more clear, if I don't use not here, what will be the outcome of D? The outcome of D will be false. 10 is greater than 20? No, the outcome will be false, right? Now if you write here not in front of D, you can see that D is a single operand. Not is used in front of D, in front of a single operand, and the outcome will become true, right? Here not can be considered as an unary operator. So whatever operator we study, whatever operator we read, whatever operator we use, each and every operator, it will either come under unary operator or binary operator, or it will come under ternary operator. Whether you use arithmetic operator, or you use logical operator, or you use relational operator, each and every operator will come under unary, binary or ternary operator. So from this you can assume that which operators will come under binary operator and which operator will come under unary operator. In logical operator, AND operator or operator will come under binary operator because that need to be used within two operands. But not operator, what we have under logical operator, it will come under unary operator. The reason is it can be only used with a single operand, right? It can be only used with a single operand, whether you use it here or you use it here, anywhere. Even if you use it here, it comes under single operand. Now you must be thinking that if we write not A greater than not B, what will be the output? The output, it will give you an error. It will give you an error. The reason is not is used to change true to false and false to true. It is not used to flip the values. It is not used to change the value from 10 to anything else or anything else to 10, right? So here we are using not in front of A. Please make sure we are using not in front of A. A contains 10 and you cannot change the value of 10. Can you change the value of 10 to anything else using not? No, it cannot be changed because 10 is not a true value, not a false value. We get a value true or false from a relation. When we establish a relation, we get a value as true or false. So in front of true or in front of false, not can be used. So even if you use not in front of A and B, it will give you an error. Bad operand type int for unary operator. So it's showing that you cannot use not in front of A and B. But the value what you get from A greater than B, this value when you get, it is either true or false. So in front of that true or false, you can use not operand, not operator, right? In front of that true and false, you can use not operator. But again, if you use in front of A, then it will be considered that you want to change the value of A, which is not possible. Is it possible? Can you change the value of A using not? No, it is not at all possible. The reason is A contains an arithmetic value, or it contains a number which cannot be changed, which is not true, neither it is false. And logical operator. So this is called as logical AND operator. If both the operands are true, then condition becomes true. So here you can say if all the conditions are true, then the final output or the final outcome will be true. Or logical operator called as logical OR operator. If any of the two operand is true, any of the two operand, whether if this is true or this is true, then the final outcome will be true. And this is not, which is used to change or reverse the value, right? Used to reverse the logical state of its operand. Logical state, what is the state? If it is true, it will change to false. If it is false, then it will be changed to true. This is all about logical operator. Here we come to an end of this video. In this video, we discussed about arithmetic operator, relational operator and logical operator. In the next video, we are going to discuss in details about increment and decrement operator. Along with that, we will discuss about the last operator, that is assignment operator. Till then, stay tuned with me. God bless you all.